The reform that I've embarked upon since I took over in Nigeria has been very impactful. I can beat my chest for that. It was initially painful, but today the result is blossoming. It's getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy, no more corruption. We have the governor of Central Bank here. You don't have to know him before you get the foreign exchange that you need. The speculators are out in our currency market. The door is open for businesses. Easy in, easy out.
Hello, welcome. It's Sunday, September 28th, 2025. Welcome to 90 Minutes Africa. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. On our show today is the critic and writer, Ikhide. He's joining us to tell us about his trip to Nigeria. In the last, he spent 2 months in Nigeria. So he has a lot to tell us. We welcome him to give us updates on the agenda, the Renewed Hope agenda. Most of you know him. He's a very troublemaker on social media. So he's here today to give us his take on how things are going. So let's welcome to the show, Ikhide. Ikhide, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you. You always, we want to thank you really, especially because when we call, you always come here. So it's wonderful to have somebody like you join us.
I heard that Obama was supposed to be here. Last minute,
we had a special guest scheduled, and something happened, and they canceled, and we had to think who is the special person we can get that we save the day. Of course, we called Ikhide, and you answered.
This is not the first time. It won't be the last time.
It won't be the last. No. You know, every show has people who are dependable. You know, people who can, if we work them up and they will start talking about anything. So
I was driving with my wife when the call came. She looked at me like, why would anybody want you on the show? Don't they have other people to talk to? And I went, do you know who I am? Me.
You are the only person. Actually, initially, you know, the person I thought would have been playing the same role that you are playing now is Professor Kendibe, and he will join us soon. He's interested in coming in to talk to you because unlike him, you don't fear. You talk about anything you want to talk about. Sure. So let's start.
You know, he was in Nigeria.
Yes.
He was hiding while I was busy.
You said something that he did not post until he came back.
Yes, he did not. No, I knew he would not dare. He would not even respond to my text. He was that scared.
Who is he scared of?
I don't know. Nobody wants us. As long as you allow them to eat, they don't care.
We are going to talk about the intellectuals because you are hard on them. You know, people are trying to feed themselves and their families. And
that college tuition in Oxford is expensive.
Do they go to Oxford? Oh, they do. They do go to Oxford.
You don't see them in public schools in Nigeria, do you?
There is this one that told me that the kids are schooling at the top universities here in America and Europe. And I was thinking, how did that happen? I mean, thinking about how much they pay people at newspapers in Nigeria. But we'll get to all those things.
There is God, though.
There is God. We're also going to talk about God because I think I have some videos that you've been putting out from men of God, and some of them I was shocked. I thought that I knew these people, but I have no idea. But let's start from here, which is the United States.
Yes.
While you were away, enjoying in Nigeria, we found out that Tylenol, you should stay away from that. We found out a lot of things. And then at the United Nations, Trump went there and how did they describe it? He broke the internet.
Yeah.
Did you watch his speech at the UN?
Of course. The first thing that occurs to me is there is no running away from your anxieties thanks to technology. So you wake up in the morning in Nigeria, and the first thing you see is the stupid face of that idiot that runs America, just humiliating America. So everything, there's just no running away from it. Actually, if you want to run away from America, it's best to just stay here, because you don't, you have control over your surroundings. You don't have to turn things on. You don't have to turn things off. It's quite quiet in America, which is interesting. Since I've been back, I don't watch TV. I don't watch any of those things because this is my home, and I figured out what I want, what I don't want. When you're visiting someone, they wake up and the first thing they want to do is watch Big Brother Nigeria. And then if Big Brother Nigeria is out, they watch Visa on Arrival. Then they watch CNN. And of course, since you are staying with them, you don't have a choice. You just have to flow with it. So I'm glad to be back. It's very quiet in America, actually. If you didn't know, you wouldn't think that America is run by a buffoon. And you just very quiet. Streets are clean. You go out, you pick out you go to the mailbox, pick out your stuff, you get back in the house. And if you have a wife as beautiful and as enterprising as your wife, you get to eat bagiri anamala. You get to eat ofen salad. You get to eat all of those things. Life is good,
Yes.
So I'm here. I'm bored. You don't have a desired guest. I am here. Let's just pretend that the world is crazy.
You said
you have 90 minutes to deal with this stuff.
You said you are bored. How can you be bored? You are very active on social media. But before we go there, let me. You talked about Trump, and I want to get the idea. What did you hear in Nigeria when this all these news items from America if they filter there? What do people? How do they perceive what Trump is doing? Look at the Daily Mirror.
Yeah,
from the UK.
So the first thing I have to tell you that will probably not shock you is Nigerians do not care about politics. We are the ones that are crying louder than the bereaved. They don't care about Tinubu. They don't care about Trump. At best, it is entertainment for them, which I think is a shame. People have to be. They're just like Americans. Americans, for the most part, don't really care about these things. But Americans can afford this buffoonery. We can't afford the buffoonery that's playing out globally and locally. But the few people that I speak with, they just find him really entertaining. They find him. They just think he's a fool because a lot of the things that he says as an adult just don't seem rational to human beings. They are not really scared of him because it's mostly for show. That's the way they see it. If you go to the airports, people are just flying in. They don't. I mean, they've got. The flights are full. They just don't really care about his behavior as much as. When I was coming in, from Nigeria into the U.S., the flight was full, but that was Nigeria. There was a second flight, and I don't think the flight was anywhere near. So I breezed into the U.S. within 20 minutes. And even with Nigeria, come to think of it, most of the folks were American citizens coming in. So Nigerians are really not as engaged in the politics of America as we would think. And when they are, it's embarrassing. The degree of ignorance, especially the degree of ignorance, is just humiliating. You go, whoa, what is this? did these kids go to school? Did these young people go to school? A lot of this came about during the Charlie Kirk, during the senseless murder of Charlie Kirk. It became clear to me that the quality of education needs revisiting. The people clearly had no idea, what they were talking about. They were just reveling in their ignorance. It was really humiliating that we were at that point. Yeah.
Let's talk about another thing that happened, which you mentioned now, Charlie's killing and his death and the reaction.
Yeah.
What is it that Nigerians at home, what are they thinking? You talked about ignorance, which was one aspect of it, but what is behind that? Is it just education, or the people are saying that it has something to do with, especially in the southern part of the country, Christianity?
Well, I don't think, I think it's unfair to pin it on Christianity, because what we are witnessing is not Christianity. I mean, if you are familiar with the preachings of Jesus Christ, if you are familiar with the words of Jesus Christ, this is not Jesus Christ speaking through these people. This is just ignorance. This is bigotry. This is not just merely homophobia. There are not enough words to describe where young Nigerians are. So they are enthralled. They are held hostage by the glib words of poorly educated pastors who were raised by white Christian racist nationalists. And so it's very difficult for them. Any religion that tells you that you have to suspend credulity, that you have to suspend your intellect, you have to suspend your curiosity for faith, is Jim Jones again. And so that's what we have. We have young people who are just, if you tell them, well, Charlie Kirk says you are a monkey, they'll go, well, there's a context for that. Is it not true? Aren't we all monkeys? Somebody actually told me that. Somebody actually told me that we are all monkeys. That's not what Charlie Kirk meant. He says you're a simian, you're a lower monkey. But they don't understand that. So I think that we have to figure out how best to begin to educate our children in Nigeria and pretty much in Black America, in Black Africa. Sorry, not Black America. We are in big trouble if this is the generation that is coming to take over from the Tinubus of the world. We have a big problem. I mean, people were writing to me in half sentences, in broken sentences, and just chanting Jesus Christ and Charlie Kirk as if they were in the same, in the same boat. It was humiliating. I didn't think I had followers that were that silly, that were that poorly educated. And it's not their fault. I think it is just the way they were raised.
Now, you talked about education, and I've always been thinking, who are the people educating our students now? Looking at how many of the professors are out of the country, how many new universities they open every year.
Yeah.
Where do they get these lecturers? Even when I was there, it wasn't that wonderful. But think about it, many years after, with so many people out and those retired.
Yeah.
I heard that in some universities today, they pray in the morning before classes.
You have asked a great question. And the short answer is that young people, in the absence of intellectual leadership, are self-medicating. Does that make sense? They are our youngsters are reading today more than ever before. They are reading more than my generation and yours have ever read. But they are reading social media. They are reading Linda Ikeji. They are reading content creators. They are reading crap. So it's a failure of leadership. Our intellectuals, like you and myself, we are behind paywalls. We are writing books that nobody reads. We are writing essays that nobody reads. And we are being condescending and patronizing to young people and saying, well, you should read. Well, I think we should meet our readers where they are. which is on the internet and on social media. We shouldn't be writing books. You've heard me before say this. We shouldn't be writing long essays that no one reads. The NLNG is spending $1 million every year to give one person $100,000. It's a lottery. So people are just running all over the place. Our writers and our thinkers are writing all over the place, looking out for themselves. We are not concerned about what Chinua Achebe, Soyinka, all of the Gabriel Okara, and so on and so forth did for my generation, which is to teach a generation how to think for themselves, how to read and write properly. We now have a generation that revels in its ignorance. You see, so it's when you have a generation that says to you, African Americans are lazy, are criminals, are this, and you try to tell them, well, these are the facts. It will take you 100 years of purposeful work to get to where the average African American is today. They don't understand that stuff.
Yeah. That's a major topic of.
Yes. So I hope that you invite me back on my own. On my own time. As an intellectual.
Exactly.
I can tell you these things.
We will do that, especially on this African American and Africans conversation, because it's getting out of hand, and I think we need to encourage conversation.
Look, me, you, today, all of these people would not be here today without the African American community. I was raised in I was raised by an HBCU when white institutions will not accept me as a lecturer. You understand? I got my green card from an HBCU, and this is just new. Nkrumah, as you know, Azikiwe, as you know, all of those people, they went to black institutions. So there's a history that we need to share. There's a history of symbiosis that we need to share with young people about African Americans. We have to say this: if the African Americans were a nation, they would be a superpower. Their schools are better than ours. Their soldiers are better than ours. Their scholars are better than ours. Their athletes are better than ours. And no group has impacted the arts and literature more than African America globally. These are the facts.
And they have more money than all
they have. That's what I just said.
all of Africa.
If they were a nation, they would be a superpower.
Have more money than all of Africa.
We spend what $20,000 a year on a child in my local government here. $20,000 for the education of a child. The most we could find was Sierra Leone. We were spending $100 a year. They are not our mates.
We'll have that conversation. I think
invite me back.
Yeah, it's important. But let me before we leave America, something else that happened. The issue of freedom of speech.
Yes,
has been discussed in recent times. We have Comey, the former FBI director.
Yeah.
Not freedom of speech, but arrested. I mean, not arrested, but indicted and going on trial. We had Jimmy Kimmel was canceled because there've been so many people who lost their jobs because. What do you feel about? How do you feel about that? Were you concerned?
Well, it's beyond concerning. I am alarmed because if this is not addressed for the rest of our lives, it will become the thing. When the Democrats take over, guess what they will do? They will go after the others. They will go after the idiot Trump if he's still alive. They'll chain him. They'll do all sorts of things. So they are weaponizing power. They are weaponizing authority to attack each other. That needs to stop. You understand? The things that Trump has done is just beyond un-American. The last time we saw this was in the McCarthy era. The last time we saw this was with Hitler. So, but this is the problem that they are forgetting. they won't be in power forever. More than likely, when Trump leaves, it's over. And then what happens? So the thing that occurs to me is that America has been running on an honor system. They've had good people running the country. Then we had this animal come over, and we realized, man, this guy can do a lot of damage with the American presidency. That needs to be addressed. It's a structural problem. How do we address it? He's got the White House. He's got both houses. He's got the Supreme Court, and so he's just doing horrible things to his enemies. Imagine a situation where Kamala Harris gets in power next. Nothing stops her from doing all of these things, because guess what? Trump says the presidency can do these things. So that structural issue, I don't know how America will address it, but it needs to be addressed.
Now, one other thing I wanted to bring up is the issue of Gaza. What's going on in Gaza? Because Netanyahu came to the United Nations, spoke, and people walked out.
Yeah.
But if you raise the issue of Gaza amongst our people, you see the division. Most people if people are from the southern part of the country, they tend to support Israel. And I wanted to know your take on what's going on in Gaza.
The Christians in southern Nigeria are just slaves to a pretend religion that they call Christianity. They don't think, they don't care about these things. As long as somebody just stamps Jesus Christ on it, it's over. They're not going to ask. If you are on my Facebook page, there is a visual I put on there. You have Gaza at a particular point, and then you have Gaza now, just flattened. I don't know if you can find it.
I actually have it.
Yeah. So it is an irony that Israel, of all that was put together after the Holocaust, is the one doing this to women, children, and weak persons. Don't get me wrong. What happened in October 6th or whatever it was just wrong. Hamas did not do the world a favor by doing what it did. But Israel has seen it as an opportunity to repurpose Gaza and to in effect execute a genocide. And so and we just seem helpless, incapable of addressing that. Netanyahu is a criminal, and he should be held accountable for what's going on. America should also be held accountable for enabling this thing that you are seeing on the screen. It's just wrong. I fervently believe in a two-state solution. Israel has a right to exist, and it's existing quite fine. Palestine has a right to exist. How difficult can that be?
Why is it that in America you have, especially with the Trump's administration, not that Biden did any better, but they base their support for Israel on Christianity. They connect it, and most Nigerians also who support Israel and what's going on in Gaza also go to the Bible to say that behind the quotes, you don't support Israel, you go to heaven.
They use the Old Testament to say, this is how it's supposed to be. It's just, it's like saying the Old Testament says you should have slaves, so we should be slaves. There is no thinking beyond a certain bottom. There's just no thinking, and there's nothing you can do about it. They'll just tell you, it says, if you're arguing with them about the Bible, they'll go to the Bible and use the Bible as proof. How do you argue with these kinds of people? If you say the Bible does not exist, if you say the Bible is a work of fiction, they will go to the Bible to prove to you that the Bible is not a work of fiction. So that anti-intellectualism I find extremely fascinating, that they cannot see that all the holy books are similar for a particular reason, that man wrote it. So, it's just very fascinating. What it has done, unfortunately, in Black Africa is worse than cancer. If you go home, everything that we believe in has been obliterated by pastors. Rudolph, you can't even go home without a pastor literally stopping you and saying, "Don't go to your village. The witches of your mother's people that are waiting for you at one junction. You will die. You will not go." I was there for 2 months, and my major problem was trying to convince my relatives that the pastors are wrong. You can't just say, "Don't go to Ewu," because So when you go to when you're having a wedding as a Nigerian, you will have the white wedding, then you will have the traditional wedding. They might as well both be white weddings, because the traditional wedding, as you know, is in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name, the kola nut will be delivered in Jesus' name. So I said, well, why bother with, the only difference is we have this made in China, I show you, that we wear and we dance. So we have a problem, serious problem. The white man does not have two ceremonies, a white ceremony and a Nigerian ceremony. Do they? No. So we are the conquered, and we don't realize that we're the conquered. Yeah.
Okay, that's that's a small way of putting it, but it's really serious conversation about the state of the black nation, black people. Let's talk about UN in connection to Nigeria. The Nigerian vice president who represented Tinubu went there and said that Nigeria should be given a place at the table as a permanent member of the Security Council, maybe with a veto power. What do you make of, first of all, Tinubu not coming for the second year in a row, and then what Shetima said at the UN?
Well, you're going to find this surprising, because, as you know, I cannot stand those people. I thought whoever wrote the speech, I don't know if it was AI that wrote the speech or it was a human being that wrote the speech. I thought the person wrote a good speech.
It was good, no doubt, no doubt.
It was a good speech, and I thought Maazi Shetima delivered it well. It's as if he actually read it before he.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the few times I was not ashamed to be a Nigerian. So yeah, I don't really care much for the United Nations. I don't think that I don't think that's my priority. I don't think that should be our priority. If you were in Nigeria for the 2 months that I was there, trust me, I would say shut down everything and become insular and try to, just help people. So the money we are spending trying to convince these United Nations people that we are human beings, just spend it in-house. People are really, really suffering in that country. So the United Nations having veto power, look, that's not going to happen. They're not going to. I saw the other place where I think it was the World Cup or something. We were bidding to for
host Commonwealth Games.
Commonwealth 2030.
Yeah.
I wrote. I said, do you mean 2030 or 3030? So we don't look. I will 2030. Where are they going to be, in Abuja or in Lagos? Have you been to Lagos?
Yes.
I was in Lagos. I just fled the filthy gutters of Kesta.
I saw the pictures.
Oh my God. I would be ashamed to allow human beings to come and visit the Lagos that I just fled from, or the Abuja. Once you leave, the main roads are bad enough. The main arteries are bad enough. Just poorly built. People just took a lot of money and built crap. But it gets worse. Once you get off the ramps, you begin to see Nigeria. Yes, yeah. This is the main road. This is the main road. When you get to, when you get off, as bad as this is, when you get off into the side roads, you just go, are we even human beings? It's crazy. Yeah.
Yes, and we talk
And
about
by the way, Tinubu didn't cause any of this. You understand? These issues have been around for a long time. Tinubu had little to do with it. And that is precisely why Tinubu should never have been elected president, because we needed somebody that was purposeful, that could fix things. Tinubu was elected to make things worse.
So, are you saying that the reforms that he talked about? Let me just make sure that for those that just joined us, I played this video at the beginning. Let's listen to
in
him.
Nigeria. The reform that I've embarked upon since I took over in Nigeria has been very impactful. I can beat my chest for that. It was initially painful, but today the result is blossoming. It's getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy, no more corruption. We have the governor of Central Bank here. You don't have to know him before you get the foreign exchange that you need. The speculators are out in our currency market. The door is open for businesses. Easy in, easy out.
So, are you saying that you didn't see signs that the reforms are working in Nigeria while you were there?
Yeah, I saw signs that the reforms are working in the opposite direction. He's clearly a puppet of our enemies, by which I mean institutions that don't mean us well. The IMF, the World Bank, all of this. He's parroting neoliberal policies that that only serve the needs of external forces. And shame on him and his intellectual enablers that this is happening. I was last in Nigeria 2023 before I got there. I can tell you that economically, things are a lot worse, anecdotally, than 2023 when I was there. So, Nigeria is a very expensive country to be in right now, even with your dollars. If you want basic things that you are used to here, like myself, it's just a regular American dude. You want those basic things. They are luxuries. They are luxuries in Lagos, and they are shoddily delivered to you. You go to their, I have this, I guess, fortune or misfortune to be friends with extremely wealthy folks, and they would want to
Show off.
Yes, not sure. They know me. They know that I like, just like I visited you. You know that I like the good things of life. They will take me. They're not showing up. They know Ikhide likes to eat. So they'll take me to these places, and they're just like, "Whoa, you are paying this much for me? Just give me the naira. Give me the naira. I will go across the street and take some Imodium and eat well." So you go to the hotel rooms. There are water bags everywhere. There are all kinds of things. It just and the things have really doubled, quadrupled since I left. I last was there 2023, and he's calling this reform. He's basically trashing the country, trashing the currency, and calling it reform. I think, to be honest, Nigeria is due for a cultural, economic, and political reset. I worry that there's going to be trauma coming up. It's going to be bad. I don't see how we can sustain what's currently going on. It's just not sustainable. Yeah.
this is what the government people they are saying, and I have someone that I've been approaching, a spokesperson for the government that will come here very soon, and this is what they're saying, that foreign exchanges, foreign reserve is high, the highest in 4 years or 6 years, that they've been able to meet their non-oil revenue targets for 2025, and the next year, most people don't know that January next year there will be a new tax law in place that will triple the revenue of the country.
Terrible tax law, by the way. Terrible.
No, to them, they say that people who make 800,000 naira a year won't have to worry about paying taxes. That they are going after the rich and all these content creators who are now paying taxes. But the idea is that by July next year, the government will triple revenue from taxes, so that good times are coming. That's their central idea, that good times are coming, that people should relax. Oh, so what do you think about that?
Well, okay. First of all, it's either ignorance or intellectual dishonesty. Nigerians are already overtaxed, by which I mean, if I step out of my house and I step out of my house in Festa, the gate man is there. I give him 1K to open the door. I give him 1K to close the door. Right? By the time I get to my office, I have given out like 5K to do all kinds of things. You should be here. You should be there, Rudolph.
I was there in June.
The billing is out of this world. So it's tax. It's tax. In Festac, there are policemen with hands out, and if you don't give them, you sabi. So if there are no, they are just collecting money on top of the taxes that people are already paying. It's not true that if you are making it 800,000 naira, you are not being taxed. Trust me, a lot of that money is just going out to people. It may not be going to the government, but it's going out to the police. It's going out to you go to the supermarket to go and buy Indomie. They are just waiting for it. Everybody wants, even the person collecting your money wants a little bill. If you go to the airport, they will say, you can't allow anybody unless you have a boarding pass. You have to give them. Of course, what kind of travel are you going if your relatives are not following you to say bye-bye?
No, let me tell you my experience at the airport, which is what you're saying. I passed through and I was going to board, and you meet all these EFCC, road safety, everybody. So at the end, I saw the drug enforcement people. By the time I get to them, everybody will just meet you. They are not saying that there is any reason, but just begging you, give something. So by the time I got to some agencies I never heard about, I said to them, "You guys should tell your people to go in front. There's no money left here."
Yes, because by the time you get to the boarding area, you are done.
Yeah, the money is gone. Because I didn't expect that. Yes. I wasn't thinking that there will be people, all the way begging, and they are not forcing you; they are just begging. You look at them, you feel sorry.
A mutual friend of ours, I won't mention his name, says whenever he is going to Nigeria, he's very generous at the beginning for the airport. He said by the time he's going home, he starts avoiding people picking up his luggage because he no longer has naira to
give. Yeah,
because that is how. If I tell you that 99% of my expenses was in billing, you won't believe it. I didn't really need. I mean, I had my clothes, I had my shoes. I didn't really need to spend money on myself, but the millions of naira that I spent was in tax, black tax. Everybody wants to collect, not just once, so twice, 3 times, 4 times. So we have to address the structural issues that make it necessary for people to be taxed the way we are taxed. So he's bringing the blueprint that he used to fleece Lagos State in the 90s when he was governor. Tinubu is a criminal, he's a crook, and he just has figured out another way to take money from people and put in his pocket. And that's what this is all about. I have zero respect for the system that I saw. I have zero respect for the system that I saw. And I think it is unfortunate that intellectuals will try to rationalize this as if we are dealing with textbook economics. It's a different mindset, what is happening. And that's the other thing I was going to talk to you about. It is quite possible that this is who we are, that we should not be criticizing, because a lot of times when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about it in terms of my life here. Perhaps Nigeria is another planet, and this is how it is. And we should just stop criticizing them. They are fine. You understand? I woke up this morning. I had nightmares because I didn't have. I was thinking about my sister-in-law who would tell me, "Big Daddy, the gen is off. Big Daddy, the gen is on. Big Daddy, the what they call this, the inverter has run out of juice. Big Daddy, NEPA, I think that's PHCN, is back." So I would just be having headaches. And she would come in and say, you need to turn on the air conditioning. And I never, as when I visited you, you don't jump, you just don't, Ikhide, it's time for the AC to be off or on. It's not part of the conversation. So it's the life that they live, and they're fine, they seem fine with it. So why am I crying louder than the bereaved? The average Nigerian does not want to talk about Tinubu in Nigeria, does not want to talk about. They're just riding on broken roads with their Lexus, and they have great cars. I mean, I saw very wealthy people, but they were uniformly poor because there's money. There's only so much money can do for you. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that happened recently was in the news that they spent 330 billion.
Yes.
What they call conditional cash disbursement to the poorest of Nigerians. Yes. Did you meet anybody who got that money? Were people worried that
no.
billion?
No, they are lying, of course. It's not. They are amassing cash for the coming elections. So they're just telling stories. As you know, it's very easy. If you are going to give somebody money, it should I should be able to go to a portal and say, this is how much so and so got, and this is the total disbursement. But that's not going to happen. They're just lying, and you and I know that. So, but do you know? It's a shame that you don't have one of their intellectuals here. They will just be gaslighting me and talking down to me with big Oyibo and convincing me that I'm a fool, that this was given out. There are PhDs, there are Nigerian intellectuals who enable this obvious lie. So, it's just that I had a free day. That's why I'm talking to you, because I am wasting my time talking about these things. As you know, I have been talking about this thing since 1993. When I was a young man. I am in the winter of my life. And people do, Ikhide is a crazy man, he's a madman, including your friend, Okendebe. He's a madman.
Actually, just so you know, he just called me. He will join us very soon.
Yeah. So they don't, they say, you keep saying the same thing over and over again. Hey, my lips should be zipped. They are right. But look at where we are. I was on Radio Kudirat. I was general secretary of many of their pro-democracy organizations. Rudolph, you tell me, if in 1993 anyone had ever told you that this would be the result of fighting Abacha, would you have fought? That's the question. Somebody that I respect on Twitter was saying people should not fight for a return to military rule, and I agree with them. I think we should just muddle through until something happens. But I do think that it would be a mistake for the military to return. However, if they return, the only placard I will carry is the one that I will use to hit the next foe that says I should fight for democracy. I will not, because 30 years of it has told me that if this is what democracy is, I want hell.
So you looked at this setting in Nigeria. You think there is no solution? You don't see any sign of hope?
So it's so you remember what I said just a few minutes ago. It is quite possible that what is happening in Nigeria is the new dispensation. So it's really weird. Nigerians as individuals live in excellence. So if you go into a Nigerian's home, in their home is a local government, it's a municipality. It's very clean, very ordered, very organized. Everything that they want is there for themselves and their family and their children. But you step out, you begin to see hell. They don't seem to care about shared spaces. You are just from their house. As you come down, you begin to see filth. You begin to see broken roads. You begin to see indifference. As you are driving bagada to the next pepper soup joint, you go into the pepper soup joint, there is organization. You eat your pepper soup joint. My favorite activity is in the evening. When I go, my brothers, they are lawyers, as you know. In the evening, the chambers shut down, and then they go under the mango tree. I call it the mango tree chamber. Then plastic chairs and tables come out, and anything you want.
Let's talk about Festac area, because
yeah,
I know the place. I know.
Yes, Festac, yeah. So go there. Everything under that mango tree you can buy, including a spouse. So it's my favorite time. They will just around 5. They will just say, "Oh yeah, let's go." Go downstairs, and you begin to drink pepper soup, catfish, goat meat. You drink ishewu. Then people are selling clothes. People are selling jalabia. People are selling themselves. Anything you want. So it's a different way of community that I actually like. We just have to figure out what happens to the shared spaces. Festac was interesting. Festac was built for the white man. Parks, greeneries, playgrounds for children, nice roads in the 70s. They converted all of those spaces to pepper soup joints, mechanic workshops, anything became, but all the green spaces are gone. Festac, if you look Festac today and Festac of the 70s, you know that it's the same thing with the airports. The airports were not designed for us. They were designed for the white man. When he's going, he calls Uber, one person, they go. But they were not designed for the fact that all of Festac wants to go to the airport with me. So if you go to Ikeja International Airport, I will never call it that other name. There's a whole lot of people outside, waiting to go inside that are not allowed in because the airport cannot contain. So we have to begin to look at municipal government. We have to look at government the way we live. And there's nothing wrong with the way we live. We just are ashamed of it, I think. I'll give you one quick example. I came back, my lover took me, as she always does, to one of these weddings. It was a traditional wedding. When it was time for food, I was hungry. I went and got food. If the meat is like this, thick chunks, as you know, chicken wings, all kinds of things, cow food, thick. Then they gave us fork and knife. I sat down. My wife whispers to me, "Don't you dare use your hand to eat that thing." I was furious, like, what's wrong with us? She was just, because her colleagues were watching, they know Ikhide is going to humiliate the wife again and eat with her. But the meat was incongruous with the fork and knife. How do you eat cow food with fork and knife? So I did not eat. I ate the rice with the fork, and I left my.
You left the meat.
But my wife, she's an expert at using fork and knife to eat nkwobi. So she skinned everything. But I didn't eat because on the one hand, we want to eat the way we are. On the other hand, we want to use fork and knife. The white man does not think like that. They will use the fork and knife to eat their meat, their food, because it was designed for it. The fork and knife was not designed for us. First Act of 77 was not designed for the way we live. You should see First Act today. It's overpopulated. Everybody's there. You should see Benin City. Benin City is overpopulated. Everybody's there. The villages are empty. So we have to just ask ourselves, why are things the way they are? What do we do next?
What do we do? Yeah, that's very important. We're going to take a break at this point. There are people already in the studio who want to join us in the conversation. We're waiting for Kate to also join us. He's coming down from an airport. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Onye Kanwelu. We're going to talk about this Catholic nun that is in the news who they kicked out of the Catholic Church or something. We'll talk about that, see what you think of that. I don't think we've seen you since Ngugi wa Thiong'o died. No. So I want to get your take on what's going on with your family. And Adichie was in the news recently. I don't know if you read her book. We'll get to that. There are so many. When we have you, it's like a whole day. I don't know how we're going
you're having me for free. You're having good quality conversations. I am envious of you.
No, that's my retirement now. I'm retiring,
Well, tell your wife that my chinchin is exhausted.
She's listening to you, so I don't need to pass across the message.
Tell her that the chinchin is exhausted. So if I have to get on the what that train again, that
Long Island Railway.
Yes, if I have to come and collect my chinchin, I will do it. I'm tired.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we are going to continue our conversation with you. For those who are joining us, thank you for joining us. We're going to get to you, but I want to touch on a few more things, and then I'll let you come in and away.
A good many of our educated people are sort of men of two worlds. They come from a traditional background and they go to a mission school. And there, certain aspects of life, certain principles of life are drummed into them. And as soon as they leave school, or once they leave school, you find that he is neither this nor that. He is neither a traditional man, pure and simple. He is not westernized completely.
The thing that would immediately spring to many people's mind, the man of two worlds, you see. The educated African who is suffering under stresses and conflicts and so on. And perhaps when the drums beat, you know, he reverts to witchcraft. Now, if this is what you have in mind, I don't experience it. But of course, there is a basic truth in the theory of a man of two worlds, because the world of Africa is different from the world of Europe. One is technological, the other one isn't. And each has its own rules, perhaps, and regulations. And it is possible to come to terms with both.
But don't forget, there has now been a third world ever since the independence of the African and Asian nations. And the impact of this third world is sort of reorientating the old world. I think the two worlds he was thinking of were A, the world of the Nigerian, and B, the world of foreign impact, like say Western civilization. Yeah. But now there is a third force, which is the force of African and Asian self-realization, which is changing things totally.
All right, welcome back everybody to our conversation with Pa Ikhide. Ikhide, that was Chebe, and who was the other ones?
Onora and Zeko.
Okay, Honor and Zeko, yeah.
As it goes to school.
Yes.
Haba.
Yeah, I don't remember how he looked.
Yeah, Jabota now. You didn't have it.
That was 1965.
It was my father's. I'm 28 years old, so it was my father's age.
Yeah, I remember. You celebrated your birthday here. We remember. But let's go back to the what we just had, public intellectuals at that time, and compare them to the ones we have today. How do you? What do you think?
Well, I was unceremoniously thrown out of the Nigerian Writing Intellectual Club because of my views, and deservedly so. So I tell people that it was the internet and social media that saved me. If not for that, I would have seen Shege, because in Achebe's time, in Shoyinka's time, if you fell out of favor with the status quo, you were done. There was, the technology would not save you. But it is quite possible that somebody like Pa Ikhide would be called, quote unquote, a public intellectual without having written a book, and be celebrated in schools all over the world, and be the fascination or the subject of works by scholars, because the world has changed. So if you are looking for the intellectuals of the types of Achebe, Uzeku, Shoyinka, Wapa, Flora Wapa, and all that, the times are gone. There are lots of public intellectuals now that do not know that they are public intellectuals. They're just writing on social media. Every day, millions of people go to listen to them, but they have no idea that they are intellectuals. The status quo intellectuals that we know about have morphed into something that we no longer recognize. They have no moral clarity, anymore. They are now, I don't want to mention names like Shoyinka and so on and so forth, but they no longer have moral clarity. They are now looking out for themselves. They are now uh, uh, interested in other things that are not compatible with the way we used to see them. So we've got new people, but if you are looking for those kinds of intellectuals who have written books and stuff like Achebe, it's going to be very difficult. And I don't. I'm lucky. I wake up. I don't. In fact, I don't remember the last time I read a book. I read Chimamada's new book. What's it called now? Dream Counts.
Count.
I read it back and forth. I just was fascinated. But that's pretty much the last book I've read, and it was a lot of work to read because nobody reads books anymore. I mean, I'd rather be typing LOL on small children's posts on on, on Twitter and on Facebook. It's more gratifying. I get instant feedback and all that. But you read Dream Count. It's a good book, but it's just like it's a lecture. They're just telling you stuff. Like so what, But I have all of that on social media, and I'm not alone. So so we have to reimagine the role of the public intellectual. We have to reimagine who the public intellectual is, and so on and so forth, and then just hold their feet to the fire and hold them accountable. The intellectuals that we remember are no longer the intellectuals of today, for good or for bad. The world has moved on.
Now, thank you so much for that. I remember that you are being modest most of the time when you talk about writing. You wrote a column for 234 Next
Yes.
for years, and they still owe you. We
Yes.
know that.
Yes.
They not paid you for.
Thanks for reminding me.
And I want to remember somebody, Pius Adesami. I know
Yes.
maybe you were friends with him like most people. He
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't remember that, but he was my friend.
Yeah.
He said that the job of the public intellectual, the only job, was to think for their country. Do you think that you are expecting more from them, or have they failed in that job of thinking for their country?
So, what is your definition of country?
Okay. I don't know. I mean, wherever they come from, it could be. I mean, there could be those that their concern will be Africa or Black world.
Correct.
It could be Nigeria. It could be their ethnic group. Like Christopher Kibo, for instance. A lot of people felt, like the what's his name, Ali Mazure was saying that he wasted his life fighting for small Biafra. That he should have been thinking about Black world. Yeah.
So I asked that question on purpose. As you know, I was raised literally by Southwest intellectuals, Yoruba intellectuals. In the 90s, I joined the internet around 91. In those days, you had to have an affiliation with a university or a major multinational corporation to have an internet account, and we were affiliated with the University of Maryland, so I had an account, and the world just opened up. So I came across all of these intellectuals, Shoyinka, Adeyeye, Aluko, Akao, and so on and so forth. And Tinubu was there somewhere, but they were talking about what just happened in 1993, right? And I thought about it, and I thought, well, this is wrong. But it turns out they were actually looking out for themselves, for the Yoruba nation. Something and that was fine. but they were couching it in terms of Nigeria as a whole. But I was naive. Many of us were naive, and we thought we believed them. But they were right. I think that the way out for Nigeria is for us to be insular. There were many Igbo intellectuals that just looked at us like we were fools. We were the one Nigeria group, and they would look at us like, you're an idiot. Ikhide, why? These people don't really care for you. You will find out. I remember being in the room with Beka Kuti, Aluko, Tinubu, and all of these people. Beka took out a map from his pocket, and he had divided Nigeria into regions. And I didn't understand why he would do that, because I was a one Nigeria person. But you see what is happening today. It's clear that they believe that the way forward is to your tents, O Israel. But they were not honest about it in the beginning, and that really ticked me off. And it's driven how I see these people. Shoinka is right in terms of regionalism and local autonomy, but he's dishonest when he thinks about it. When he thinks about it in terms of the whole. They are all quiet now because they are in power. They're in Aso Rock. But you will recall when they were not in Aso Rock, the shout was Yoruba Ronu. But they are now in power, so they can any attempt to remind them, they will just gaslight you. So we have to sit and think about the Nigeria of the now and of the future, and we have to look at it from from an honest perspective. I don't think our intellectuals are being honest.
All right, thank you so much. Let me. This is somebody that gave you an award, Onyeka Nwelo.
Yes.
Recently, he granted an interview to Premium Times, and the headline was big, and I saw that you shared it on your social media platform. He said, "I think things fall apart should be buried and never made to resurrect." He's been a very big critic of Things Fall Apart and Achebe. So I know you know him. What do you make of his intellectual output and his issue with Things Fall Apart?
Well, so Onyeka is like a son to me. So I love him like a father would. I personally so on Things Fall Up, it is a measure of my love for him that I did not block him when a few years ago he wrote that. This is not recent, by the way. I don't think it's recent. Yeah. So.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was a new one.
No, it's old.
He doubled down on the.
Yeah, he doubled down. Yeah, but you are right. He doubled down. But
yeah,
it's a measure of my love for him that I did not block him everywhere when he said that about Things Fall Apart. You know how I feel about Things Fall Apart. So, yeah, he's wrong, and I don't. The world, the way the world treats Things Fall Apart shows that he's wrong. I think it was just an attention-seeking approach. And he got the attention that he wanted. People were all upset with him and all that. We don't have all day to talk about how Things Fall Apart redefined literature, not just African literature as we know it. Now, it is not true that Onyeka gave me an award. It was, but I can understand the relationship. It was an institution within the University of Oxford with the name James Corey, as you know, that gave me the award, and I was very proud of the award. I remain very proud of it. Having said all of that, I personally believe that we have to talk about mental health, mental illness, and creativity. There is a very thin line between genius and lunacy. Yeah.
Should I be worried?
For you or for me?
For other people, you know,
Yes. So
people I'm encouraging to go into.
and I think that we have to be very understanding about, you know, mental health issues of brilliant people like him, like Dambuzo Marechera, for instance, and so many people that we just seen more as geniuses than as people who were troubled. Biabanga Wainaina, for instance, was another brilliant person, but it's not clear to me that he didn't need support. They belong to a generation of Black artists, of African artists who needed help, but who were being funded by the white man because their eccentricity, to put it politely, was entertaining. But we didn't really realize that until it was too late. I love him very much. He's just a brilliant person. I mean, it's almost supernatural. The man has produced about 40 or so books. You just think about it, it's not natural. So, but people, when he says he fixates on things like poverty or poor people, and he says hurtful things about it. But it's not what I would say normal behavior. And so I look at it, without going into details, I speak to you as a parent of 4 children. And I say to you that if you've never been in my shoes, if you've never been in the shoes of a loving parent, you could never understand why I love him the way I do. I think we should, rather than vilify him, we should find ways to support him. Yes.
Yeah, we had him on the show, and hopefully we will bring him back on the show soon. I wanted to show another headline because you mentioned mental health and creative writing, and this is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie speaking to CNN. She told CNN that she fought through creative block and depression from 2013 when she published her last novel and the current one. So I think at this point we have Professor Kendibe is joining us. Let's see. Professor Kendibe, welcome. What happened?
No, it's not on mute.
We can hear you. We can see you. Hello.
I can't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you. We can hear you.
Let me see.
For those who do not know Okendibe, I know
so I didn't want to mute the mic.
Some people may not know him, but this is his this is his.
We did it the last time. We've done it again. Join the mad people. Join them. Join the actualers.
So a lot of people, they've been asking me, what has Okendibe been doing? He has been going around dancing. Okay, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rudolph.
Yeah, I have Ikhide here, and I told him that you were going to stop by to say hello to him.
Is he listening to me?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not listening to you.
Well, this would be a good time to report to the world what happened recently in Nigeria. Ikhide and I had signed a contract to dance for Nigeria's Got Talent. It was scheduled in Lagos. I showed up in Lagos. Ikhide said he was in Abuja. So we scheduled to have the competition in Abuja. And then he wrote and said he had moved to Benin. The brother was just running all over the place, just was too scared. to take me on. So just this morning, I dropped something on Facebook to further intimidate him.
Rudolph.
Because I saw what he was doing, where he was maliciously accusing himself of dancing. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah. So he accused himself maliciously of dancing. Now, Rudolph, show the real dancing.
The real one.
Let the world see.
Rudolph, we don't have enough time.
So we don't have time for this drama.
No. Just show the world that Nigerians can dance. That is not this thing that they've seen. Please, you need to go ahead.
He was in his little brother's house. Is it Rufai Oseni?
Yeah. He was with Rufai. Yeah. Yes.
And he only showed that after he had come back to America. He was afraid.
Rudolph.
Yeah.
Now you can see dancing.
All I can say is that Sherry has suffered.
We did it the last time. We've done it again. Sherry, join the mad people. Join them. Join the actualers.
Sherry has suffered.
We know that.
Ikhide is he's so shocked that he's drinking some ogogoro. He just
so Ikhide,
right? Is that what he did, Rudolph?
Coke. He was drinking Coke. So okay, is it true that you were afraid of?
I can't hear.
What can we do to you? You were afraid of posting videos and pictures while we were
Rudolph is rigging the thing. I cannot hear him.
We can hear you. Remove your.
I can't hear you, Rudolph. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This is oh my gosh. Rudolph.
All right. So what we're going to do,
I think Ikhide's ancestors did this.
Remove your earpiece. Remove it.
I should remove this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just try the phone the way it is.
Okay. Keep talking.
Now, yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
I still can't hear you.
Okay. We have to do GoFundMe and get you a phone that works. And
come on.
All right. So okay. What we're going to do is since you can hear us, maybe you can reconnect, join us again, try again, and see.
I think Rudolph is rigging something. I think he's rigging it. So that Ikhide will have the last say. That's what's happening. Rudolph,
yeah.
I accuse you of rigging something. Is Ikhide talking?
Yeah, come back.
Indicate by he talking?
Yeah, he's talking.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Okay. What you are going to do? Go back and disconnect. Leave us. I will wait for you.
That's in there. Oh boy.
All right. Okay. We can see you. You can hear us, obviously. So try to join us again. I wanted Ikhide to challenge you one-on-one on this. Your role as a public intellectual and how you failed. You and your generation. You failed us.
Tell him to give the earpiece to Sherry. Sherry makes more sense.
It's gonna stop Mike now.
All right, so we will take out because he's disrupting us. He can't hear us, and continue the conversation. So Ikhide, there are people who are waiting to join us, and we will get to them. But this is what I want to. The final thing I wanted to talk about, which is the church, the role of the church in the affairs of Nigeria. You have several videos of church leaders speaking, and I think you wanted to raise awareness, and I want to play some of them and get your take why you think it's important that we highlight what they are saying and how.
I tell something will baffle you. Jesus never visited any poor person in the house. Read your Bible. That means he hates poverty. Check. He visited Lazarus. They were not poor. They were giving him food. He visited a sinner called Zacchaeus, who was rich. Tell me one poor man Jesus entered his house. He hates poverty. That's the meaning. He hates people who are poor.
So that's there's this one that you shared that I really was. Oh, okay. I have too much videos on. I'll get to that. Rapture. I didn't know there was rapture that was supposed to happen last few days ago on the 24th, and a lot of people believed that it was going to happen, but it didn't happen. Ikhide, what is your take on? A lot of people make point at the church as one of the contributing factors in how our people think and why our people are not willing to challenge the dominant thinking in several issues. Let me show this.
Dealt with me somewhere in US. I was there for a meeting, and then he saw security here and there. He said, today, not today. So he put her leg. I stumbled. He told the husband, I'm pregnant. He said, just now, she delivered Naaman's time. Just now, faith was alive. Therefore, for everyone whose faith is in place, the day declare your day. I see those children brought before the altar of the Lord. No stillbirth, no miscarriage. In the name of Jesus.
All right, Ikhide, why are you doing that? Do you have issue with Christianity? Ikhide, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay.
I'm reflecting on your question.
Okay.
So I think that we are programmed to be deeply spiritual people, or we should be deeply spiritual people. I'm deeply spiritual. I think that any religion that allows you to think deeply about why things are the way they are, that allows you to think about tenets like compassion, justice, love for all, non-judgmental, the way Jesus Christ described how we should live our lives. That religion is desirable. I was raised Catholic, actually. Believe it or not, I was a mass server. I was baptized Catholic, and the priests of the Catholic Church were deep thinkers. They were highly educated. Went to some of the best schools in the world, PhDs mostly. On the other hand, there was a lot of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse in the church, in the schools. I was not quite 11 when I started Catholic boarding school, and I don't want to go into details. Catholic boarding school was traumatic for me. I did not belong there. Many of us little boys did not belong there. We were just abused in the name of the Lord. But even then, I still have memories of the teachings of these priests. The new Christianity that we have is a cancer on our nation. It just is. You just saw those video clips that you shared. In your heart, is that the kind of stuff that we should be sharing with people? The president of Rwanda has said, look, I'm not going to allow this. I'm going to ban all of these churches, and I'm going to require a certain modicum of standards for to be a pastor, to be a priest. Now that seems reasonable. When in Nigeria a pastor says, "Well, I wanted to go to America. I went to the bathroom in Ikeja. When I came out, I was in Dulles Airport," and the whole church goes, "Amen." That's a problem. It's madness. So those are the kinds of things. I mean, it's not hard to see that these churches are hurting mostly southern Nigeria, and we have to fight it. That's where I am with these churches. For me, the one that really upsets me the most is this need to suspend thinking, to suspend reason in the name of faith. You see what it has done to our country. You see what happened with the Charlie Kirk situation, where thinking people basically said, even though this man said you are a monkey, he hates homosexuals, so he's preaching the word of Jesus Christ. We should be concerned. We should be alarmed by this. Yeah.
All right, thank you. For me, I have one more question, but before then, I want to apologize that OK will not be able to join us because he's having connection problems, but he agreed with me that he will be back. He will be here as a guest to talk to us, so that will happen very soon. All right, there's a story today in the news. I think it's been going on. I think it came out yesterday, and it's increasing in terms of going viral about this Catholic priest. Oh, no, sorry. No, Catholic, non. Reverend sister, outspoken sister, who was talking about abuse that she suffered in the church.
Yeah.
And they kicked her out.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? What is they gave her 100,000 naira and said you can go.
Let me just put it this way. The Catholic Church in Nigeria is very lucky. If the Catholic Church in Nigeria did the kinds of things that it did in, say, America, the Catholic Church will be bankrupt. By which I mean there's a lot of physical abuse going on, a lot of emotional abuse going on, a lot of sexual abuse going on. In Catholic boarding school, boys, in my time, little boys were being raped because there was a system set up. You started in Form 1, and then there were seniors, and then there were priests, there were nuns. So there was all of that going. If you were in Form 1, you were at the bottom of the barrel, and anything could happen to you. It went from Form 1 to Form 5. Anything could happen to you. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual assault, sexual rape, and all that. And you couldn't report to you could report to the fathers, but eventually you would end up back to your rapist, and you didn't want that to happen. So a lot of stuff happened in Nigeria. I have to say that parents are a lot wiser now. They're very careful with where their children go to school and all of that. But my generation, you were just happy to be in school. So yes, what the lady was talking about is common knowledge, but they tell you to just sweep those things under the rug, and it will be well. But our job is to say, no, you can't do this. This is not right.
All right. Thank you so much, Ikhide. I promise you we'll bring you back for in-depth conversation on the African American and African, the conversation around foundational African Americans. And I really want to know what you think about that. But we have our regulars who are here to interact with you. and I will bring them in, and then they know the drill. They will have opportunity to ask you a question or make a comment, and we ask that they limit it to 2 minutes. All right, Mr. James, you're first.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah,
Of course. Hi, how are you?
Yes, I'm all right. It's difficult to know where to begin. Let me comment on the state of the Nigerian intellectuals. If you remember clearly, while we were at Arinze Primary School in Benin City, we used to read newspapers as primary school students. Am I wrong, sir?
Rudolph, he was my classmate at Arizona Primary School.
I remember the last time.
We used to read newspapers in those days. Though we could not understand the vocabulary and things like that, but we were able to understand what was going on in society.
Yes.
Primary school students. But what I've noticed these days is that even the university professors, you know what it means to be a professor. You hold your BA degree, master's degree, PhD degree. They employ you as maybe assistant lecturer, lecturer 2, lecturer 1, senior lecturer, associate professor before you become a professor. The road is very rough to become a professor. But today, when you hear Nigerian professor analyze issues on television, you have cause to wag your head. How are the mighty falling? What has happened to Nigeria? I think it was just yesterday here on this platform, I made reference to the works of, to the likes of Tinu Achepe, Supreme Quincy, Elechi Amadi, Imostutu Ola, Olesoika, and others. Today, we no longer have their likes. I mean, we no longer produce their likes anymore. And whenever the country runs into crisis, we don't even know the role of the intellectuals in solving national problems. If you look at British or European history, there are ancient philosophers like Machiavelli, Thomas Hobbes, David Hume, Soren Kierkegaard, and quite a lot of others. They philosophized and laid the foundation of the policies, the rules, and regulations governing modern European societies. That was centuries ago. These were great thinkers. Our intellectuals supposed to be our great thinkers. But today, as I was saying yesterday, when you listen to Arise News analysts, particularly Oseni Rufai, Ojinika Ukwe, and others, they rubbish professors in their analysis. The professors, they are not worth their salt. Let me just summarize it. What exactly has gone wrong? What can we do to revive the system? Because I believe no matter how terribly bad the situation is, if reasonable men sit down to find a common ground, the problem can be solved. What can be done to solve this problem? Our professors are now INEC professors. They are now returning officers during election, a university professor. I don't think America degenerated to that level. America, where you live. When I read the works of people like James Mitina and others, great American writers, I know that I'm reading something. But that is not the case with Nigerian professors. What has gone wrong? Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
All right, thank you, James. Let's see if Ikhide, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
we can see you. Can you position? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So
that is full face. That.
Yes. So my friend has stated the obvious, which is, there is a disconnect between Nigerian thinkers. I would almost say African thinkers and African readers. So we have to meet the African readers where they are. They are not on TV. You know, you will appreciate this, Rudolph. My children do not have cable. That is, they don't watch TV, right? They have monitors, and they when they if they are bored, they will just connect their phone to the monitors, and that's it. So we have to figure out how these people get information and go to them and give them the information there. They are not on TV. They're not reading books. They are not. They're certainly not in behind paywalls. So if I give a child 25,000 naira today to buy Adiche's book, Dream Count, in Nigeria, a child that earns, say, 50,000 naira a month, and that child spends that 25,000 naira on the book, she's a fool. She's a big fool to spend 25,000 naira on a book. Why? I expect them to say, thank you, uncle. And when I'm not watching, they go and use it on other priorities. Yes. Quote me publicly. So we have to find how that child gets literary information. It's on social media, it's on the internet. They buy data. I buy data for my nephews and nieces, 5,000 each, and they are reading crap. So it's a failure of intellectual leadership. We have to make sure that our thinkers are where our young people are. And so if you are looking for people to go to Shoyinka, to all of these people where they are, it ain't ever going to happen. In fact, if you go to the movie houses, if the thanks to content creators, if it is more than a minute, they're not watching. So we have to refigure how we deliver these things. It's just how I think.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Ovie, who is here. Ovie, welcome to the show.
Thank you to our guests. When I saw that video dancing, I said it's no longer with us. It's now with the men up there, because when an African region begins to look like that of European in terms of music, they just say that means it's gone, because the coronation is not there at all. So, but again, when our leaders are saying leadership is the problem, and our intellectuals are saying intellectuals are the problem, my village people, we are on the right track. We should stop listening to them. Now, I will start by two quotes, one from you, sir, and one from Dr. Dameji. From you, by Ikhide. In 2011, you did criticize the King Prize. You criticized them for African literature. You suggest that the creation of African prize for African writers may have created the unintended effects of breeding writers willing to stereotype Africa for glory. Dr. Dameji said the whole Nigerian media system cannot function without the support from the outside world. And I could, interpret your demeanor when you are answering the question regarding the young writer that you said you see him like a father, and I can see the disappointment when the realization that he's actually being sponsored from outside. So, and I'm wondering why we all keep wondering why Nigeria is what it is, right? Even from at the earlier stage, you said you asked Dr. Dameji if we actually get involved in the pro-democracy movement, if the outcome is going to be like this. That is a realization that you find out that maybe the whole movement was powered by USAID. That's one side. The other side is, I want to agree with you when you said that we that live outside Nigeria should leave the people alone. Maybe that's who we really are. I agree with you from this context. I don't know if you are familiar with Nassim Nicholas Taleb works, Skin in the Game. I agree with you from that perspective. I think for the past 24 years, we, the clerks, the policymakers, the intellectuals, the diasporas, those that understand things, have been telling the village people that how to eat, what to eat, how to speak, how to think, and most importantly, who to vote for. I think it's hard, since we all agreed that we are the problem, and you say we should stay up. I think that's the right way to do it. I don't know if I actually could you right or I missed other stamps here or submission so far. So yeah, that's my question and my observation.
It's a lot to unpack there. Thanks for your feedback. You clearly have been reading a lot. You've been studying me. So yeah, 2011, I was a very angry young man, and when I read the offerings of the Kane Prize, I just, I think it was my essay was how not to write about Africa or something. It was patterned after Biavanga Wainana's epic essay, how to write, about Africa or something. I was just frustrated about the fact that we were now writing to the test of Western validation, and we were writing nonsense. And I think it was Novio Bulawayo's short story that won the prize that year. And I was quite frustrated with the whole thing. Now, it's been almost 20 years, and here we are. And I wonder if we are just not pushing against what is not ever going to change. Having stayed 2 months in Nigeria just opened my eyes to the fact that perhaps I am being naive. This is how things are going to be. And, who says that this system is better than the system abroad in America? All I can tell you is, after having spent 2 months in Nigeria, from July 18th to September the 22nd, 23rd, that I am glad to be back in America. It's a soulless place. It's quiet. I come out, the roads are clean. My wife tells me to take out the trash. I happily do that. She tells me to go do the dishes. I happily do that. I don't have to worry about the inverters. I don't have to worry about gens. I don't have to worry about THCN, and so on and so forth. I don't have to worry about the gate man. You just make choices. Look, I have been fighting the dysfunction in America since I was a teenager at the University of Benin. Nothing has changed. If any, it has gotten worse. So the people there, in fact, I was there, and not once did anybody ever bring up the issue of the politics or the dysfunction. They were just there trying to survive. And anytime I would try to bring it up, they would just look at me like, what's your problem? I don't have time for this. I just want to leave. So at some point, it looks like you are being condescending, patronizing. In fact, there is a conversation going on right now about people who live abroad versus people who live at home, and how people see those of us who live abroad as we've got it made, or how we think we have got it made. So the thing that really upsets me the most, I will be honest with you, is whenever I'm having a conversation and somebody doesn't say, you think you are better than us because you live over there. You live there, it is your life. You decide if this works for you. If it works for you, fine. Don't bother me. Yeah.
All right, Ovie, thank you. You said this, I remember something you posted today, I think, where you were making, I think someone was talking about people asking for money, and so it reminded me of that. We will see if we can get to weigh in on that. Let's first go to KJ. KJ, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Damages. Pa Ikhide, are you related to Dr. Ikhide?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm sure he's happy that I'm not related to him.
I should think so, because I'm trying as much as possible not to be in conflict with you, because I like your approach of taking down questions, especially when they seem to be a bit on the hard side. Your choice of language makes it a bit easier to swallow. And I've listened to you from the beginning, and I enjoy what you say, even though I have areas of disagreement. But I always give people the benefit, because people cannot be the same. We all cannot always agree on the same things. First and foremost, your take on the church, and that's where I'm going to come from. And the church itself, I'm sure you know, because with all you have said, you have traveled far and wide, and like you, I was also a Catholic. The church sells faith. So if you take away faith from the church, I think it doesn't have anything to offer. Yeah. So as long as the church will remain, at least in this form where it is, it will always be faith that will be the first menu to be served whoever is coming to it. Even no matter whether the person is rich or is poor. I also agree with you. Church has been bastardized to a large extent, but it was not supposed to be a perfect organization, because it's run by human beings who, even at the highest point of anointing, are still 100% human beings and are prone to whatever you and I or the other person is prone to. So based on that, I sometimes don't feel comfortable when you say people, the church in Nigeria is this or that. Because if you take away the church in Nigeria, I bet you many more evil would have happened beyond what is happening right now. And yes, in the Catholic and as well as other ministries, there have been all kinds of abuses. Even the reason why you're not, maybe some people take a position because people have used miracles to deceive so many people. But it doesn't mean that miracles don't happen. Now, I'm getting to a point. I interviewed one guy who at the time was about 85 years old or thereabout. He said he was the secretary of the World Witches Council. He lives somewhere in Oyo State, Ibadan side. And at that time, he showed us a small stick. I'm going somewhere, sir. Follow me. He showed us a small stick where he said about 1,000 of them used to enter at midnight and come all the way to Paris, America, and all that. He was calling streets for us. This guy was in a typical Yoruba village. He was calling the streets of America for us, where they used to go and cause all kinds of havoc. Now, if that can be accepted, why then wouldn't it be accepted when a Christian says this miracle happened and that miracle happened? That's one question for you, sir. The second one, okay, I think I've forgotten it. But I just want to say that, if I remember, I'll come back to it. I just want to say I like your disposition, and I think that people like you, we should take you and see how can deal with the issues back at home. And because just like you said, your last comment, most times when you speak, they say because you think you're better than us. It's not a question of being better. Some of us got to the point that if we didn't leave at the time we left, we would have become complete nuisance, to the system. I've even gone away to look for how to end the hope everybody in the Aso Rock. So we decided to just help ourselves and our family members by living. So what I'm trying to say is that, do you think, and I'm afraid to ask this question because I don't want you to go to the extreme, do you think Nigeria is irredeemable? I mean, I could have put it another way, but I just want that to be the focal point. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I think you should have your own show. You will beat Rudolph, and you will make a lot of money.
He actually has a show.
He's very impressive. You should have your own show. You've got a temperament, unlike that Rudolph. And you make a lot more money. But I don't want to conflate issues. I have a lot of respect for the church as a community. So the church has become like a local government area, if you will, serving support and succor to people who otherwise would be in big trouble. And I'll be the first to say that I have not given them enough credit for that. If you go to the Redeemed, you go to Winners, and you go to their facilities, they are doing things that local governments should do. If you come to the US, I tell immigrants that are just coming in, go and find a church and stay there. They will find you clothes, they will find you homes, they will find you things, and they will give you support that the traditional local government will not give to you. And in return, they just ask for you to come to church and to support the church and all that. So there is that. So where I fault the church is what happens beyond that. The whole notion of don't think beyond a certain thing. Take things by faith. This world is very complex, as you know. We don't understand why things are the way they are. When it is the white man's world, we say it is science. When it is our world, we say it is juju. You just described science to me, right? But it is. I am more than likely to dismiss it as juju. Whereas I don't understand why Wi-Fi. I don't understand Wi-Fi. I don't understand why wireless. All I know is I was in Festac and I would tell my brother, put your Wi-Fi outside of the door because it is faster. We don't understand. If it was the black man that had done it, we would say it is juju. So we don't know these things. So to your real question, is Nigeria irredeemable? I have told you that it is quite possible that the Nigeria that I saw from July 18th to September the 22nd is the way it is. People just seem happy living like that, and there are things I will always miss about Nigeria. I told Rudolph that at 5 o'clock the Lord Chambers goes under the mango tree, and then there's a whole theater. I miss the streets, I miss the markets, I miss the spirituality, I miss being with people who are satisfied with little or nothing. But that little or nothing means a lot to them. Does that make sense? To give somebody 100,000 naira, 100,000 naira is like what, $63. You may have just changed their life in ways that, look, my daughter will just I will see her. I can tell where my daughter is now. I'll just open my app. Rudolph, am I lying?
No.
I see where they're buying things. PI. Swipe. I told her yesterday that I lied. I said I think I need to shut down that ATM card. She says, you are cutting me off. I could almost see her calling the police. Child abuse. And she's 30. But I saw children, with bachelor's degrees, opening salons, doing POS and all of that stuff. It's a different world. I personally think that Nigeria is not irredeemable, but I think that Nigeria as we know it now is not sustainable if we are to follow traditional ways of. I think that if we are not careful, there's a coming trauma that will reset Nigeria economically, politically, and spiritually. So, and you are talking to someone who was part of the pro-democracy movement 30 years ago. If anyone had ever told me that this is where we would be, I would never have fought Abacha's regime, because Abacha's regime was safer than where we are now. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, AJ. Let's bring in CM. CM, you are welcome to the show.
Hey, where do I start? Good evening, Rudolph. Am I coming out clearly, I believe?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Ikhide, our special guest, you are welcome. Obviously, you should know who is speaking. If you don't know, let me refresh your memory. We reached a deal on Facebook. You will supply books that you've read. The last time you said I was late, you sent it to Nigeria. I don't know who will read it there. I'm in UK, so I'm still on the queue. I'm waiting. But that is by the way. So you are welcome. Enough of all this church dogma, Christianity. Let's go a little bit cultural. By way of asking you a question, I know you are from Ewu, along the road to Auchi, between Bini Auchi Road.
Yes,
You are from Ewu. You are from Ewu. Yeah, I know quite a bit. I want you as as an elder, because you say you are Pa Ikhide, so I respect that. As an elder, please, I want you to confirm this. It's have to do with culture of Esan people. They say if you marry for Esan, now so you go to pay dowry till you die. I don't know how true that thing is. So even if the woman die, you go see the pay dowry because you go to visit your in-laws. But if now you die, now be say you don't dey safe. Obasanjo talk am. So how true is that? Now I just
Well,
want to make you confirm.
I have 2 daughters. You can come and have them for free if you are single. And I promise you publicly, I will be paying you dowry to have them. They are highly accomplished. One of them is a doctor, pediatrician, an assistant professor of pediatrics. The other one is the assistant attorney for the city of Baltimore. Come on,
be careful what you ask for, sir. There's some ugly liars out there.
Yes, it's free. It's free. I will pay you. So, I don't know where you are getting your story from. So
no, it's from Obasanjo. You know, Obasanjo is your great in-law.
Obasanjo is a bullshitter and a white beater. Let's not
he
go
married
there.
Abebe. He married from Abebe family. You know the popular Abebe. I think
the Abebe family, as you know, was richer than Obasanjo. They made their money honestly, unlike Obasanjo, who stole. So Obasanjo is just bullshitting when he talks about the Abebe family. They didn't need his money. They don't need his money. For what? Do you know the Abebe family? I knew them. They don't need any. So I'm telling you, if you know anybody that wants to marry any of my daughters, and they're Americans, you don't even have to suffer.
What
Come.
of Lion Cub and
Big Lion and Lion Cub? Lion Cub and Fearless Fang.
And Fearless Fang. So
if you want to marry them and you like men, more power to you. Now you sabi. As long as I just want them out of my house.
Anytime I come to US, I will visit you. This is just an friend.
Just come and carry. If my man the hungry, you come carry. If my woman the hungry, you come carry. I just want them out of my house. Take the dogs. Take everybody.
But I saw how the dogs welcomed you back.
Oh my God!
I was.
Do you know? The owners. One of the owners came. I was sitting with the dog. Say, Frankie, come. He said, so he left. So since I came back, the dogs have been by my side. In fact, they are by the door now. I locked the door so that I can speak to you guys. So yeah, my young man, you are very good looking. If a man the hungry, you'll call carry. If a woman the hungry, you'll call carry. So yeah, and that's all I can say.
Neither the hungry. It's just that when Obasanjo said the thing now, so I said I won't trust any other authority. Now I trust we go confirm.
You know Abebe family now. These were old money, USC of not this new money that Obasanjo and them stole. So I don't know where he got that from. I am very steeped in our language, in our culture. We don't. If you say you want to marry, the only requirement is that you are happy. This whole bride price business, we don't sell our children, no. But it is, if it is $1, $1, we will take it. And in fact, in one of my children, I have told her, when they give me the bride price, I will put it here because they are coming back. When they come back, I will give them their money back. Because she's as stubborn as myself. When they give it, I will just put it. It's Omunira. I told her, the one that is the assistant state attorney for Baltimore. I said, when the man comes, I say, you want marry? I said, thank you, my dear. They give me the $1, I'll put it. 1,000, because I know in 1 month they will be back.
Anyway, I have a distant cousin who is eyeing one babe from Igweben and the another one from Uromi. So two of them, it was just. So I said, if you confirm this,
he shouldn't be eyeing. He should move fast.
Anambra.
He should move fast.
Because of to the pay dowry.
No, that's nonsense. That is nonsense. That's nonsense. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, CM.
Thank you.
But you look like Monday Paolo. You guys are from the same village. Are you related?
Except that I am educated.
And he's the governor.
He's the governor. I'm educated and he's the governor. That's all I can say.
All right. Oti, welcome to the show.
Hello. Evening, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening, Pa Ikhide.
Yeah.
Right. Welcome. The first question I wanted to ask you, KJ has actually asked that question. The question is whether you've given up on Nigeria, and you've answered that question. Okay. No, but I don't quite agree with the answer. Your view on that matter, which is that Nigeria, that we can just, that's how it is for now. Okay, we should. So the reason why I don't agree is this, because so I ask myself, as you're as definitely a member of like the Nigerian elite and intellectual class. Do you have any sense of guilt or responsibility for the condition of the country? So that's the question. But then then there's the question you asked, Rudolph, rather you retorted, in answer to the question he asked about Nigerian intellectuals. In other words, which country? So so now, which country? The intellectuals in Nigeria. In other words, if they are fighting or defending a country, they have to have a clear definition of which country they are fighting for. So perhaps something that, I would like if you could maybe develop further. Now, coming to the issue of religiosity, which is what's going on in Nigeria, I don't think it is a problem of the church or of Christianity. It's a matter of education, and then the question becomes whose responsibility, whose job is it to educate Nigerians? Again, that goes to like the elite class, the intellectual class. And my analysis, my understanding is this: everything starts with political leadership.
Yeah.
And so we lack political leadership in Nigeria. Okay, overall. So you fought for democracy, but I think that was the wrong fight. If you ask me, the reason is this: first of all, I think people have to have independence first, before anything democracy. So this thing we're talking about democracy it's really a waste of time. So we don't have independence, political independence. We lack that, and that independence really doesn't have to be, for the Nigeria as a geographical space. Perhaps for the different peoples of Nigeria, and therefore this brings one to the realization that Nigeria, as presently constituted, it's not workable, it's not sustainable. I think a lot of people have made this observation. It's not something that is new. So what are we doing? So I think we understand the problem, unless we don't want to really face it squarely. Nigeria is not a country. So what are we doing? And then we think you can just kind of allow it to go on this way. So I don't think it shows we lack seriousness, as a people. That we, all come in the West and relax, and then, we think. So I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. So how long will this go on? So if I may ask, are you a man of faith? Any faith?
Yes. So I love your questions because you have answered every one of them, except the question about am I a man of faith? And so I am a man of faith, but I'm not a Christian. I believe that it will be foolish to look at the world that we live in and not believe that there is a higher order. So I come from Ewu. If you follow me on Facebook, I hype Ewu a lot, and I believe in Onugo. I believe that Onugo is my ancestor that sends my supplications to Osanobloa, who is God. So we had God before the coming of Jesus Christ and the white God. So I'm deeply spiritual, deeply spiritual. I also, believe it or not, admire the tenets of Jesus Christ. You know, the whole notion of compassion, of justice, of loving your neighbor, of treating people the way you want to be treated, and all of Jesus Christ really, really modeled the behavior that we should all model. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. No, but have you studied Christian theology?
Yes, I was raised Catholic. I was a mass server. I was baptized Catholic, and so on and so forth. And I was in Catholic boarding school, and I would pray to God every day. If you save me from this place, I promise you, I will never worship you again. And he answered my prayers, and I have not worshipped him since then. Yeah. So Catholic boarding school was a terrifying space for a 10-year-old little boy. I was not quite.
Well, I was there too, but it wasn't such a bad experience for me.
Yeah.
So,
so 1970, right after the Civil War to 74 was when I was there. And so I could write a book. Maybe I should write a book and profit from my anxieties about what happened to us as boys in the Catholic boarding school. Let me just put it this way. If it had happened in America, I would be extremely rich. So, but I am deeply spiritual. That's one thing. So, and I think that God should live in us, and my temple should be in us. That's the question that you did not answer yourself. Now, you asked the question about, do I feel some responsibility for the situation that Nigeria finds herself in? It's a great question. So I have been an activist since I was a teenager, since Ali Must Go. And I have been, when I came to this country, to America in 1982, it was like living light into the darkness. There was no WhatsApp, there was no cell phone and all of that stuff. And then the internet just opened me up to a new world. And I have been an activist for Nigeria since 1993. I think that you are right. It is not about me. I think that somebody said that we are all tainted. That is, we are all, in a sense, responsible for what we find, the situation Nigeria finds itself. And that seems fair. But I just want you to know that it is not for lack of trying that I spent a lot of my family's fortune, a lot of my everything trying to put in place what I thought was going to be democracy. This is not the democracy that many of us fought for. I was on Radio Kudirat. I would be on Radio Kudirat talking, and my little girl would wake up and start screaming, and they would shut it down, and I would go and feed the child, and then we would start again. That was the level of dedication I had to Nigeria. So I feel like I have given of myself and of my family. My wife suffered a lot of deprivation because there was that was what we did, I remember Shoyinka was just this really, really awesome leader. I mean, very upset at what was happening, and he had a lot of cachet, and he put a lot of his personal resources into the Nigerian project, and we just followed them. Some of the most brilliant Nigerian intellectuals were Southwest intellectuals, and I was just a groupie, a soldier by them, and in return, they were very loyal by me. So, I gave it all that I could. Did we fail? Yes, absolutely. But if you ask me, was I part of the problem? I thought I was being part of the solution, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Uche. Uche, welcome to the show.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Am I coming? My voice is coming?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Professor. Good evening. I'm very happy to have you to see you in the platform this evening. Mr. Rudolph Mbedoma Ekelemge.
Yeah, Uche, I sent you a message. So when you check your private chat.
Okay, I will do that. Even I'm with you in one platform with Showera and others. So I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for the evening conversation because it's really interesting to point some certain things, and it's like today's Sunday, and we are having the same conversation that maybe in line with the Sunday movement or Sunday things and Christianity. So, Rudolph, you give me a little time, so I will make some. I will touch some things so that people understand what is going on.
No, hold on, Uche. Uche, today is different. It's not like yesterday when we had open forum. We are just talking about our guest and what he discussed.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I understand. I always follow up. I understand. So what I want to say is this. Let me just point some certain things. I'm a full Roman Catholic. And my father soaked us in, he soaked us like where they soak cloth in the water. He soaked us in Roman Catholic from childhood, baptism, and all that till he left or he passed on in the world. So he belongs about 4 to 5 different, should I say, there are things in Roman Catholic, choir, vocational movement, and Religion of Mary and the others. And any role he played, my mother always played the same. So I started being a master at the age of, should I say, 8 years. 8 years, and I'm heading to maybe 40 something now or 40 years. So what I'm saying is this. About 4 years ago, I regretted being a Roman Catholic person, totally in my life. And I started cursing them. What is the reason? And the reason is this. They deceived us. I'm a man server from 8 years. When I traveled to Bayelsa, because I'm from Imo State, so I came back in Imo State, my business. Like my age has passed like being a man server, but I still keep on being a man server. So when I came in Europe, I'm also a man server. I joined the system as a man server. I served the bishop. I joined them to eat in their dining. So I'm an insider. When I say I'm an insider in Roman Catholic movement. I can tell beyond what people in man server don't know. But the issue is this. I started asking questions when I saw that how they practice this Roman Catholic in that home and how they practice it here is not the same thing. And when I start asking questions, like they start sorting themselves from me, how little it be. So I saw that maybe they think I'm trying to review some certain things they are doing, telling us Jesus Christ of 13 and all. So many things involved. I don't want to go on but the question I want to ask is this. Professor, this campaign that I started, that instead we will have 20-something Roman Catholic church in our mama where I came from. Why can't we have 20-something companies in our mama, which when you turn around, you see that the people you want to fight for to have, instead of 20-something Roman Catholic, you have company. And when you have companies, the youth will be happy, going to work, having their salary at the end of the month. And then the same youth will tell you, either through their reverend father, or through their pastors, or through their seminarian, they will be asking you like he has turned to a demon. Now it's like we are a demon. You will now say a man server and very close to father and all this. So now it's like we are a demon. So my direct question is this. How you people taking this campaign, if we have found out the problem, part of the problem, because after politics, how I saw it, in Nigeria. After politics, you saw religion, where you can gather multiple people and change their brain, either telling them left or pushing their brain at the right. So can you tell us how far you have taken the campaign of this thing is not contributing anything for us, rather it's taking us back, or it's not giving us anything better?
Thank you, Uche.
Thank you so much.
All right. Ikhide.
Yeah, I think it's, the young man is onto something. When I was there for 2 months, outside of generator noise, I was worried. I had trouble with church noise. I couldn't sleep at night because people, every other, it just seemed like every other residence was a church. So in Rwanda, as you know, the president of Rwanda has basically prescribed a lot of these churches, and I said there's got to be standards and all of that stuff, and we have to think about it. The churches actually in Nigeria are run as businesses. It's a lot of billions and billions of naira that run through those churches on a daily basis. So I'm fine with getting rid of all churches, if you ask me. I'm fine with saying we need to have standards for church. We need to have standards for what people are ingesting and imbibing. So yeah, I'm not familiar with the proliferation of Catholic churches in the East, but I agree generally that we have to think about what these churches are doing and how they're doing it.
All right, thank you. We're rounding up. One more question from Mr. James, and then I have a video I want to play for you to get your view on that. Mr. James, a special because you two went to primary school. James, what happened? A one-sentence question for you.
Thank you. We are from the same village. I'll get one question too.
Okay, Mr. James, go ahead.
Yes, since our primary school days, I've been living in a wonderful world of books. It's a pity I will not be able to elaborate because of there isn't enough time. I'm interested in the troubled spots of the world. Palestine, I read The Source by James Mishina. South Africa, also by James Mishina, The Covenant. The Caribbean, also by Mishina. The most interesting I have read is Cried the Beloved Country by Alan Paton.
Yeah.
Describe the problems of minerals in South Africa. Kindly recommend any book you think is worth reading that explains the problems of Africa, with the exception of Jacob Festus Ajayi, what's his name, Ghanaian, the eminent Ghanaian historian who passed away, Jacob Festus Ajayi, Adu Buahe, and Ali Mazuri. With the exception of these three, which other would you encourage me to have a look at? Thank you very much indeed for coming.
Yeah, I have to think about that a lot. There's a particular historian, what's his name, Rudolph, that's been writing a lot of books about, and I've reviewed some of his books.
Was it about military in Nigeria? Maxilio.
Sure. Yeah. You should find his books and read these books. Really, really good books. I've reviewed 2 or 3 of them. I like Adichie's books, the old books, not the new one. Particularly Half of a Yellow Sun. I think everybody should read Half of a Yellow Sun. I am almost obsessed about what happened during Biafra. In that book, she wrote it with her blood, which is interesting because she was not born when Biafra happened. She was born after Biafra, but she did a lot of good research when she wrote this book. That's one book I would encourage people to read. But I sound like a broken record. If you really want to know about why we are where we are, you should sign up for social media and just be reading young people. They are out there. You just go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to TikTok, and see what our children are saying about the country that they live in. It's very painful. I plead with you, just go there. It's not just merely a book. It's young people in their teens, in their 20s, in their 30s waking up and talking about their daily lives. And that's where I am every day. That's where I am. That's how I made my notoriety. I was raised by books. They were free. They were literally free growing up as a child. Catholic boarding school was tough, but I found solace in the library of the book. In those days, they had libraries for public. And if you remember, James, if your mother or your father said they were not going to buy you a book, you would cry, remember?
Certainly.
That was our form of entertainment. So the new book now is your data in your phone. If you tell your child, I'm not going to buy you data, they start crying. So they say there's a lot that's in those video clips, that they do. There's a lot in the tweets, a lot in the postings that tell us about our country, our continent. But the intellectuals are in denial. They have no idea that this is true. Huh?
No, I wanted to say that if you're recommending social media, you also, maybe we don't have the time now, but talk about misinformation, because there are so many things.
But with all due respect, Achebe once said, books can also enslave you. There's a lot of misinformation in the books. You understand? That is where we come. That is when Achebe says there's a failure of leadership. I don't think he was talking so much about political leadership. There was that. He was also talking about, I think, intellectual leadership. When somebody can, you look at where we are now, where somebody can just say Charlie Kirk meant well for a black person. It's hard to take. So it is what you get out of what you have read that makes a difference, I think. And it doesn't matter if it's a book or social media.
Okay, please, I will send you a copy of my book when it is eventually published.
I'm happy to read it, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We have OC, Omoye's Corner, joining us, and I couldn't, I know we're rounding up, but Omoye's Corner, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dr. Damages. Thank you for the show. It's going to be quick. I don't intend to take up too much of Pa Ikhide's time. Hara Wale.
Anegbe.
Ofure.
Omerioko.
Obilo, sir. So my question to you, really, I mean, I've heard and listened intently to everything that you had to say, and I really want to appreciate your take on all the issues that have been presented so far. So I wanted to ask you, you said you've been in this fight for quite a while based on your history and everything. So what advice would you have for those of us who are still, fighting? I know you're still fighting from wherever you are. Like because from you're standing at a vantage point right now, having fought through the military up until now. So what do you think that we that are in this fight, for those of us who care about the country, whether it's regional, whether it's going to continue to be one country, how do you think we should proceed with fighting to ensure that we get the results? Thank you.
That's an awesome question. First of all, I just want to say, continue doing what you're doing. And by which I mean, accountability is number one. If you think things are bad now, just think of in Nigeria without the internet, without social media. A lot of the reforms that have been made have been due to what? Young people on social media, holding people accountable, showing people the facts, showing people the data. Young people who are so sophisticated, they can take a picture and say, well, this picture you didn't take yesterday, you took it in 2019. That was not possible in my time. So I know that young people don't get a lot of credit because we don't know any better. My generation doesn't know any better, but you are doing all the right things, but you just need to do a lot more of them. Because even in the, I say to people, and they don't believe me, I say Nigerians are generally very honest people because they are running a country on an honor system. That if Nigerians, if we're Americans, the place will be razed to the ground. The only thing saving America is accountability. And that is what you guys are doing. You know, you hold all of us accountable. You hold me accountable. You hold folks accountable. And nobody can get to you because the internet is this amorphous space that doesn't have boundaries. Nobody knows who you are, where you are, and so on and so forth. So I think you should continue to push for the same things you've been pushing for, which is autonomy of individuals, autonomy of local governments, accountability, and just ridiculing these people because they are crooks, they are thugs. And I am a father of 4 children. The youngest is 26, the oldest is 32. I cannot tell you to go out on the streets and fight to the death. That would be irresponsible on my part. All I ask is that you should be safe, but that you should continue to do what you're doing. I was there, as you probably heard, from July the 18th to September the 22nd. I mean, what I saw there is just heartbreaking. It was a tough 2 months for me. And I came away knowing that I would never live in Nigeria, but I would fight very hard for people to get the kinds of beautiful lives that my own children have abroad. It's not enough to just say, America is all about money and all of that. There's no spirituality. You need good roads. You need good schools. You need good hospitals. So I was in an estate. You know what they mean by estates? People live from day to day in those places. This little young lady in her 20s was in the bathroom. She fell, and lost consciousness, would not speak, could not walk. The husband had only 50,000 naira on him. We are now crowdsourcing money for this child, little child, because she's like 25, 26. She's younger than my last child. We are looking for money to save a young person whose only crime was to be born into a war she did not ask for. It's not right. You know, we must, when you see a politician who is giving you bullshit and you know all her children and husband are abroad, call them out. That is the only way we can make progress. All my children went through public schools in America, public schools. I worked for a public school for 31 years, and they were all fine. They were all fine. I am fine. I live off of a pension off of it. I want the same for those of my folks that are in Nigeria. Does that answer your question?
Yes, he absolutely does. Because as we're in this fight, talking, and because sometimes I come to Dr. Damages and say, hey, all we do is talk and talk and talk. And he will also tell me, you two, you're always talking. So so that's why I asked that question. So that maybe, from where you're coming from, you can tell us, okay, maybe you can try this also and everything. Because personally, for me, I don't think we should give up on our nation, because that's where our ancestral homes are. Yes. I think we should fight for it for what it's worth, and we don't know what the future holds, and your children may end up being there someday. We never know how the whole thing is going to turn. But yeah, I just want to thank you once again. I really appreciate this interview. Dr. Damages, I hope you bring him back again. This was really amazing.
I will be back. Whenever nobody shows up, he calls me.
Thank you very much, sir.
Ikhide, did you visit us also?
Also? No, I did not. Why?
He's from there.
Okay. So, I will be here next time.
Ikhide, one more thing before we go. There's someone we didn't mention on throughout this conversation.
And I want to play a video of Charles Soludo, who we can all agree, it belongs to that intellectual class. And he reminded me of, what T.S. Eliot talked about in the poem Westland. Between the ideas and the reality falls a shadow. I'll play that video and then we'll come back and get your take on that.
Because of some discussion that, okay, if this happens, you will lose your property, you will lose that, and so on. Of course, that is untenable. I mean, I too was wrong on this, because if by any chance you have another state of Biafra, it will be the 16th state of ECOWAS. And that means you have free movement of goods and persons. But the fundamental question, the fundamental issue is that this debate is not happening. This whole thing is being driven almost in a haphazard manner. Last week, they called for, was that last week? Yeah, last week. They called for a sit at home. And even without anybody getting out to more enforce and so on, I learned virtually Anambra and many other cities were completely shut down. It just tells you there is something going on. But again, where is the elite in this? What is missing is structured debate and the apparent elite aloofness or complicity or hypocrisy. The elite in denial. For the politicians who think you can just, let's use them temporarily, let's use them. Just go on, while we can then use that to negotiate for something here. I can tell you, you will create a monster that will consume you. When that inferno comes, both us, everybody else, and the kind of thing that happened in Biafra where dissent, any dissent was considered a saboteur. Okay? You might get to a point where you will be telling them, just go on, while we can negotiate here, get something for ourselves in Abuja. I can tell you, these guys are no fools. At some point, they will look at you too and know that you're actually part of the problem.
That was Charles Soludo, 2016, before he became governor. And under him, things have changed so much in the Southeast, especially in Anambra State. So what do you make of Charles Soludo, the intellectual who became a governor, and then whether he was able to identify the issues he identified as an intellectual? Now that he's in power, he has opportunities to correct things, and he hasn't.
Well, Soludo is just your typical Nigerian intellectual, and I include myself in that tribe. All talk, all sizzle, and no suya. No onion self. They just say all the right things, and then when it gets to their turn, they make things worse. So, it's very sad, because if you go to Nigeria, the typical person is not necessarily asking for their own kingdom. They just want to live in peace. They want to thrive. If you go to Benin City, there's a place called Phone City. Anything that's wrong with your gadget, just take it there, they will fix it. You understand? Same thing with Lagos. There's a place called Computer Village. So, and then in Igbo land, there's Igbo land. The people go home, they build nice places. You go there. Just like Ewu, you go to Ewu, that people want to live in peace. I have a friend whose father was shot, executed for no reason. He was a professor. He was executed for no reason. There are basic things that people like Soludo have refused to put in place: security, safety and security, and all of that. That's nothing to do with having your own Biafra. We have failed our people, and Soludo has to accept responsibility for it, along with everybody else. There's no reason to have a Biafra if people are being executed and shot and killed, and as is currently happening. So we have to have those conversations. We have to hold these folks accountable for the mess that they have created. It's not only in Igbo land, in Edo State, it's not safe. People were just concerned about my safety because I didn't stay in hotels. I was just out on the streets. You saw me on Facebook. It was not safe. You feel the insecurity. It's palpable. And there he is, just mouthing off. His children are abroad with mine, living their best lives. Beautiful children. I saw Soludo's son talking about his designer bags and stuff. So he's full of it. And that's very it's more than annoying. It's upsetting. That he has his children and his spouse and whatever out in Western countries living their best lives while he's pretending to run a wreck of a country. Yeah.
What about Nnamdi Kanu? What do you make of what is going on with his case and the Nigerian state?
There is absolutely no reason why Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. It's in a democracy. I mean, what has he done wrong? Then just deal with it, and if he's guilty, let him serve his term. He's been in jail. He's been in detention or whatever it is for at least 5 years now, right?
About that.
Yeah. Why is he still there? What has he done that is so bad that we can't just come to a conclusion about it? He's at the best guilty of running his mouth. Why is he still there? They should free him. Let him go to his family. There's no reason for him to be there where other loudmouths are just running around running the country. Nnamdi Kanu needs to be freed like yesterday.
All right. Just as a part of entertainment, but something very serious, which we don't have time to get. I know you have to go. I want to play this video. That's the final thing I will do, and then I will get you to weigh in a way. So I'll find it, and please bear with me. It's important that sometimes we look at. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Let's see.
It's Asa from the beats.
So raise weekend international TV, international money laundering, international TV, international land grabber, international TV, international TV, international TV, international money launderer, international TV, international land grabber, international TV. The property for Florida, they go collect them. If he ever try to go America, they go arrest him. In Nigeria, no be America, they go jail him. So already we can go do eye service. He attack him. He even say if to say na he be Tinubu, he go buy him. So already sleep, na so we can go tap him. Jomorena Pupara, Jomorena, oh the Mumu, PDP governor, international 50, international land grabber, international 50, international 50, international 50, international money launderer, international 50.
So, Ikhide, I know that in the Second Republic, First Republic, do we have? Did you guys? I know you're 28. Did you guys have people like Wike in the political scene that time?
You have to remember people like let me see, Okotiebo were shot for 1,000th of the infractions of these politicians. Today's politicians are incredibly lucky. They are doing things that got people killed over and over and over again. You know, T.Y. Danjuma, who is now a criminal and a thug and a thief, shot southern politicians for less than this. So I don't know. I think that they are beneficiaries of the apathy of the Nigerian citizenry. People, if you're on the streets in Lagos, people don't really care. They just see politics as business. They don't really, they don't really take these people seriously. We can just considered an entertainer who's made a lot of money. We don't, but in those days, you're right. They would have been shot for their crimes, and these people have committed a lot of crimes against Nigerians. I mean, look at the current accusations against Wike by Showore about all those homes that they have. Wike is not the only one. All of them, they all. I mean, you and I are here. You know, look, there's a sense in which we are all tainted. We have friends. They come. They bring their children to stay with us. Am I lying? You know, no. I will put them in all the best schools and stuff and all that. But in public, we fight each other. But we are the same tribe. So Showore himself knows we are all the same tribe. You know, I know. I can mention names. So unfortunately, there's going to be a reckoning, and it will be bloody. I think it will just be bloody. I don't see how else we can get out of this.
Do you think Florida would do something? The petition they sent to
no. I mean, if you are familiar with, of course, the laws of this country, there's no there's no crime really. They don't see a crime that's been, shall we say, executed. What's the crime? You know, and from America's standpoint, we're not talking about a whole lot of money. You know, some houses, they're not going to waste their time, trying to trace money. It's not American money that was laundered. It is Nigerian money that was laundered, right? So, and it will be hard to prove. And it's not what it's not what the time of the prosecutors or the attorney generals to go into it. They will just look at it. How much? $1 million here, $2 million here. It's like 0% of the state's budget. You know how that works. It's not. Showore knows. He's just doing it for theater and to embarrass as they should, to embarrass Wike. But they passed through all the rules for money, and they bought the house. That's it. That's my thinking. I may be wrong, but I will ask my little girl, who's assistant state attorney for the city of Baltimore. She might have.
Yeah.
Looking at it.
That's a good one. One last video. This is some.
Come on, this is heartbreaking.
I know you were chief of staff and you ran school district in Maryland. And when you were in school, I don't think this was the kind of food you were given. And these are kids that they're going to grow up and they are going to be patriotic. They are going to serve the country.
So I have news for you. This was how I was fed in 1970. My memory of boarding school is chasing our dinner goat with 300 other hungry boys. The goat had somehow escaped, and that meant if we didn't catch that goat, we would eat about without. So we chased it, and I think we caught it. So after the Civil War, the Red Cross decided that we had suffered from the Civil War, and they gave us wheat, they gave us powdered milk and okporoko. The okporoko ruined my teeth. The wheat was terrible eba, and when I ate the milk, I would sprint to the latrine because I discovered I had lactose intolerance. So when I watched that video clip, and I think I shared it on it reminded me of Annunciation Catholic College for 5 years, how we ate, you would. So a lot of the things that we are seeing have always been around. And I think it is cute to blame Tinubu. Tinubu had very little to do with a lot of our issues. They've been around for a long time. That is precisely why he should never have been elected president. We needed somebody who would try to make things right. Tinubu is totally incompetent when it comes to fixing these things. So if you go to Arize Primary School, where I started, say primary 2, I started primary 1 in Ibadan. It is, if my dog sees that school, he will call the police on me. It will be called dog abuse. So right now, as my door is locked, he's texting the police because he hasn't seen me for 2 hours. I'm aware to be going to that primary school that I went to. So all of these things have been around for a long time. We were Uniben that we brag about our life. By the time I left Uniben, we were now doing shot put with our feces and throwing it because the place was now overcrowded. A place that was meant for 2 by 1979 when I left, we were now having 8 people in that place. So we have problems that did not start today. We're just lying that it started. Nigeria is a very frightening place because today's Nigeria is a very frightening place because some of the anxieties and dysfunctions are worse than colonialism. We have house boys and house girls that are not allowed into the house. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen the video.
No, go home. House girls, house boys are not allowed into and you are not allowed to be friendly with them. They go see you finish. They are treated worse than the way the white man treated my father. I was in South Africa in 2005, I believe. The discrimination I saw of middle-class blacks against poor blacks, if it was white folks doing that, it would be apartheid. So we are just lying about a lot of things. I was given, this one that I came back, I am totally broke because, I was just giving money to, there were beautiful children born on the wrong side of the railroad tracks. I gave a child 40K. That child was performing backflips. She lives under the bridge. You should see this child. Beautiful soul. She was, she's performing backflips and telling me about what she was going to do with 40K. 40K. Meanwhile, my own daughter is older. Just like, are you going to pay for this? I'm at the dealership. Are you going to pay? We're talking about $1,000. She's not even saying thank you. She's just like, you gave birth to me. What is your problem? You should be happy that I'm even allowing you to pay for my car. Rudolph, you know what I'm talking about. So, they were just like that. I am scheduling Uber for my wife from Abuja, and she doesn't understand why I feel like, you should be doing that yourself. That Uber trip is like $100. $100 is what? 150,000 naira. Give that to a child. So Nigeria is in a very bad place. I saw a child who told me she was going to hurt herself. I won't say kill her. I said, what is that matter? Her phone broke. As you know, the phone is their infrastructure. How much is the phone? To fix it is like 10K. 10K, the father doesn't even have. I gave them a phone, money for the phone. The father called me to thank me. That was a couple of years ago. Do you know they did not spend that money on the phone? I gave them 100K to buy a phone. They did not spend the money on the phone. He said the father used it to do a project. How do you spend $40 on a project? So we have we have problems. We have problems. We don't. Let me just say, I am happy to be back here. Me, I'm not going back home. There's a limit to foolishness. Anything my wife tells me, I will take it like a man. In fact, last night she woke up and said there was a box. Why did I put the box on the door? I just quietly took the box and went to hide it. She was in a good mood this morning when she came. She didn't see the box. Who won't die? So I took it, I hid it. She has just called me now. I told her, I said, it is Rudolph. You know how he is. Useless man. He's disturbing. I'll be texting him. I don't want to go back to Nigeria. Madam, get us here. Madam, get us.
Ikhide.
Yeah. So I think it's Rudolph that is making me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ikhide, are you anytime around Maryland?
I live in Maryland. I've lived in Maryland for over almost 40 years.
Which part of Maryland are you?
Do you know Silver Spring?
Very well.
So Olney. I'm in Olney.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I started working for Montgomery County Public Schools in 1987, and I retired 2018.
Wow.
Yes, and then I worked again for the council 2018 to 2024. So, yeah, are you in the area?
Yes.
Where?
I mean, and I actually live in.
He has to think about it.
No, I actually live in Glenbonny, but
Glenbonny is just down the road.
Yes.
That's where rich people are. Just call me. I have my social security number. I will come.
Aha! So, KJ, you live with rich people.
He's a rich man.
Now we know.
So just tell me what the code is for the gate, and I will come.
Now we know. Unbelievable.
Yes.
It's good to know that. We will track you down.
Mr. Rudolph, can I throw a word, please? Can I throw a word? Just a word.
As soon as Rudolph shows up, we'll track you down.
Sure.
Okay.
Please.
Throw a word.
Thank you. Please, our guest. I just want to throw this word. Maybe you can quickly say something about this. So when we have somebody like Mr. Surudo in Anambra, and he's a professor, and before he came as a governor, all of us in Southeast, we think that Surudo will do best more than all these governors. But what we see today, like, is a third man out of from Abia State and from Elugu. In fact, we have already put the result up. Abia State is the number one, Elugu is the second, and a professor is third, and maybe he's getting to fourth now. So throw something for us about that. Maybe
okay, so
we'll understand.
So this is a good question. It's a structural issue. If Soludo was here now, if Soludo was here with all of us, say right here now, he would behave himself because he is, the there's an alignment between him, the governor, and the governed in terms of education and all that. I tell people that the democracy we are practicing is not appropriate because the vast majority of our people are not educated enough to understand this stuff. I worked for American politicians most of my life here. The governed believed that we were working for them, and they were right, because they knew that the money for us was coming from their taxes, and they would call, and you would have to respond to them and all that. That's not the same in Nigeria. I mean, people just don't understand this stuff, and you say it's democracy, so they just, if Soludo was with us now, you can hold him accountable, but the vast majority of people that he governs cannot hold him accountable because they don't understand that stuff. So we have to look for a governance system that is more appropriate for our people. It's not this democracy. It's just it's a sham. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Ikhide, thank you so much. We just it's 3 hours. We appreciate you for coming today. It's been wonderful. You. And hopefully we will bring you back and do the other thing we said we're going to do and get okay to also dance.
Yes.
Compete with you. So thank you. We appreciate you. A lot of people are showing their appreciation, and we are going to take a break. I will come back and thank everybody, and then we will go to the after show, which KJ will host.
Okudilio nyekelanio Olisamalugo mkoyene menenua Okudilio nyekelanio Chukuna malugo yobiadio cha Agaranya chogo kowe bili Agaranya chogo kowe rienio Owe chuku bezie chuku Nuche chukwa busigi fegemeo Nuche chukwa busia ifegemeo Nifo solo ne asi alibazie Oboye bebe agaranya muliba Oboye wuru agaranya mebibe solea Mano agaranya uwa Oboye afiozi enipakwa
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon, Sunday afternoon with us. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Ikhide. Next week, we are going to bring another interesting guest on the show. And let me thank those who supported us. It's very, very important. I will say that without them, we won't be able to do what we're doing. So I really want to thank Riako Tobe for supporting us. Oscar Blackbone, thank you so much. These are people who constantly keep us on air. Nana Bash, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Again, Oriako Tope, thank you so much. We won't be able to do this without them. Oh, I didn't see this. Show, thank you so much. We didn't get to so many things. That Show is the executive producer of this show. People don't know that, but he's the one sending me some videos. I'm not a magician. I don't know everything going on. Most of the things you see are things that were sent to me by our producers. We have many of them. People like Ngozeka, you've not seen her in a long time, but she's still behind the scene working on things and helping out. BK also helping, and Allah, who is the guy that designed our flyers and other things. So we have people who are actually working behind the scene. We thank them all the time because, again, we do this because they help us make it possible. All right, until next week, KJ, thank you so much for being here, and I will look in and see what's going on at the other end when you pick up reactions. Oti, thank you so much for being here. Mr. James, always. James is the first person that is always here, and it gives me confidence that I'm not going to be alone. Because sometimes you can open the stream and you'll be alone and you just be talking, and I'm not good at that. Thank you so much, everybody. Those who watched us, thank you. We appreciate all of you. Those at home, watching, those on the comment section, I see your comments. I see some of you making fun of me, but that's all right. I appreciate all of you. It's all part of it. Thank you, everybody. And like I said, next week we will be back with another edition of 90 Minutes Africa. Take care.
Tó fẹ́ kú torí ẹ̀. Ọwọ́ ẹni ló ti ṣàánú kọ́. Ayé la bá, ayé la fi sílẹ̀ sí.
Impacting you as a writer, as a thinker,
and as a human.
As a human,
I have to say, and in some ways, it's at some point I would wake up and go read and see what was going on. At some point, it became almost unbearable for me. I felt that I could not stand to see one more picture of a child in Gaza, and I can't even believe I'm getting emotional. And I read about writers who had died. I know people who have died. And I'm just, it's mass murder. I think I cannot believe that we are living in a world and there are governments who are supposed to believe in human dignity and nobody is doing anything about mass murder happening in Gaza, because that is what is happening. I think the idea of collective punishment is dehumanizing. You cannot hold a whole group of people responsible for the actions of certain members of their community. It is, and I think, I think about this a lot, and I think in the end it is that some people have decided to look at Palestinians as somehow not fully human. Because if you think of Palestinians as fully human, you cannot find excuses for this kind of mass murder that is happening. You cannot justify it in any way. if we believe that a human being is a human being, all human beings are equally worthy. That's kind of how I think. And as a storyteller, I think it's important for us to read about Palestinian lives, ordinary lives. There are wonderful Palestinian writers that I've always admired. Actually, in my talk, The Danger of a Single Story, I quoted a Palestinian writer, Murid Barghouti, who says that if you start a story with secondly, you never get the full story. So if you start the story in the middle, you never get the full story. You have to start the story at the beginning, right? If you start the story with the arrows of the Native Americans, that's not where the story starts. The story starts when people came to their land. And I think that's such an interesting and very relevant quote, I think, for today, that we have to start the story at the beginning, right? And I think it's also, in some ways, similar to what is happening in America today, that we have to continue to remember that it's not normal. I think it's also important. And I say this to myself because when I stopped looking at the news about Gaza, I felt a bit guilty. But I would just look at the news and cry. And then, sink into depression. And then I would think, no, I can't cope. And I think especially as a mother, you look at those pictures, you read those stories. It's awful. It's awful, and I don't know how people who have the power to stop this are not doing anything. It is to me,